Hello my dear friends. So friends, we started discussion with the concept of place of supply, and in fact in that wonderful concept called place of supply, already we completed discussion about section 10, section 11, and in fact in section 12 also we started, in which we started discussion about some good points already, and today in this particular session we'll cover a lot more interesting points in the concept of place of supply. Are we clear? Come on. So let's once quickly revise and we'll move forward. Tell me friends, what is the answer for section 7 of IGST Act? Section 7 of IGST Act deals with the concept of interstate supply. What is section 8 of IGST Act? Section 8 of IGST Act deals with intrastate supply. Then what is section 9, my dear friends? Section 9 deals with supplies in territorial waters, which clearly says that if the location of supplier or the place of supply is in territorial waters, then it shall be deemed to be in the coastal state or UT, where the nearest point of appropriate baseline is located. We have done that, right? And very clearly I taught you that it is very important that you properly classify whether it is intrastate supply or intrastate supply, because based on the type of supply, your type of tax will change, and type of tax will have an impact on availability of input tax credit. Because an important point is that a registered person in one state, he can claim credit of CGST, SGST paid in the same state, and he can also take credit of IGST, but he cannot take credit of CGST, SGST paid in different state. That is not allowed at all. That is why it is very important that we classify the type of tax very properly, which depends upon type of supply. And generally what we say is that if the location of supplier and the place of supply both are in same state, we call it as intrastate supply. Whereas if the location of supplier and the place of supply are in different state, we call it as intrastate supply. And if it is intrastate supply, we charge CGST and SGST, and if it is intrastate supply, we charge something called IGST. Clear with that? Good. Then my dear friends, we were talking about section 10, and section 10 deals with a concept of place of supply related to goods, and 10 is divided into 10.1 and 10.2. 10.2 only says one line, that if place of supply cannot be determined under section 10.1, if place of supply cannot be determined under section 10.1, then it is determined in such manner as may be prescribed. So that means as of now nothing is prescribed, but in the future government will tell in what way you will determine place of supply. That's where they use the word, it will be determined in such manner as may be prescribed. Then next, my dear friends, 10.1 talks about place of supply of goods, which will divide into 10.1a, 10.1b, 10.1c, 10.1d, 10.1e. And what is 10.1a talking about? Come on. 10.1a deals with the concept of what, my dear friends? 10.1a deals with an interesting story where it clearly says that place of supply in case where there is movement of goods, where the place of supply will be the place where movement of goods terminates. Terminates means what? Stops for a delivery to the recipient. And 10.1b talks about a case where goods are supplied by supplier to the recipient. Goods are supplied by supplier to the recipient on the instructions of third person, and the place of supply will be what, my dear friends? Principal place of business of such third person. Then 10.1c talks about place of supply in case where there is no movement of goods, and in case where there is no movement of goods, place of supply will be what, my dear friends? Location of goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. Location of goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. And 10.1d talks about place of supply in case where goods are assembled or installed, and place of supply will be the place where goods are assembled or installed. And last one, 10.1e talks about goods are supplied on board a conveyance. Goods are supplied how, my dear friends? On board a conveyance. And place of supply is place where goods are taken on board. Then after that, my dear friends, we also discussed about section 11, and in 11 we learnt about 11a and 11b, and 11a clearly talks about place of supply in case of import. 11b talks about exports, and 11a say in case of imports, place of supply will be location of importer. In case of imports, place of supply will be location of importer. Whereas in case of exports, my dear friends, Whereas in case of exports, my dear friends, place of supply will be location outside India. So wherever goods are being sent, that becomes place of supply. After all this story was done, we started discussion about section 12, my dear friends, and we all know very clearly that 12 deals with place of supply for services, and in this we just completed the story of 12.1, 12.2, 12.3, but today we'll talk lot of points in this. Come on, what does 12.1 say? 12.1 clearly says an interesting language. 12.1 says, sir, provisions of section 12 will apply. Provisions of section 12 will apply only if location of supplier and location of recipient both are in India. One more time I repeat, sir, provisions of section 12 will apply. Provisions of section 12 will apply only if location of supplier and location of recipient both are in India. And 12.2 talks about something called general rule. This is an interesting language. What does general rule say? Come on. General rule clearly says, what, my dear friends, if receiver is a registered person, one more time I repeat, sorry, if the receiver is a registered person, then place of supply will be location of such person. But whereas if the receiver is an unregistered person, then what law told is that if address on record exists, then place of supply will be what, my dear friends? Location of recipient. And if address does not exist, place of supply will be location of supplier. Then 12.3 talks about something called place of supply in relation to immovable property, where law clearly told place of supply for immovable property will be the place where immovable property is located or intended to be located. 12.3 says what, sir? Place of supply for immovable property will be the place where immovable property is located or intended to be located. That becomes place of supply. Clear, right? No doubt about it. Very important. And one interesting point what I told there was in 12.3 we have got one special point, and special point clearly says in case where property is located outside India. If property is located where, sir? Outside India, then place of supply will be location of recipient. Correct, right? Come on. I repeat one last time. 12.3 deals with place of supply in relation to immovable property, where law clearly told place of supply will be the place where property is located or intended to be located. And if property is located outside India, place of supply will be location of recipient. And another interesting point I taught you there is something like this. If immovable property is located in more than one state, then place of supply will be each of the respective state in proportion to the value determined in the contract or agreement. And in the absence of contract or agreement, I repeat one more time, in the absence of what, sir? Contract or agreement, it is determined on such other basis as may be prescribed, and it's already prescribed by way of rules, wherein in relation to 12.3 I taught you something called rule 4 of IGST rules, which clearly says in case of hotel accommodation we will apportion based on number of nights, and for any other service in relation to immovable property and also for hotel accommodation in contiguous states, one property in contiguous state, that means in between two states the property is located, then we'll apportion based on area of the immovable property. And the last thing what we had discussion in rule 4 was in case where accommodation is in houseboat or a vessel, then place of supply how will determine, my dear friends? Will determine based on time spent in the boat or vessel in each state as declared by the service provider, because he should only tell how much time that boat is in which state, obviously. Clear, right? That's it. This is what is the discussion we have done from 12.1 to 12.3. Today we'll talk much more interesting points in place of supply related to services. Come on. So let me start discussion about the story of section 12.4, my dear friends. 12.4. We are done with 12.3, my dear friends. Now we are talking about something called section 12.4. Come on, look at that very clearly. Now listen. So example number 1. First, directly I'll give some examples. Sir, this concept of place of supply, we can become perfect only by way of using examples. Simple, no other option at all. Now listen. Let's say there is somebody called Mr. SHIVA TEJA who is a registered person in Telangana state. Now, for some reason, I went to Bengaluru, Karnataka. Come on friends, for some reason I went to Bengaluru and Karnataka. I had some work there, so I went to Bengaluru or Karnataka. Right. Now in Bengaluru or Karnataka, there is a hotel called Taj Hotel. I went there to basically eat food, my dear friends. Eat food or have food. So I went there to Taj Hotel to eat food or have food. So if you remember, I gave a similar example in 12.3 also. But in 12.3 I was talking about something called accommodation. But now I'm talking about food. Food. Correct, my dear friends? Come on, tell me. Eat food. Now, Taj Hotel is providing service to me. Obviously, yes or no, my dear friends? Taj Hotel is providing service to me of supplying food. Correct, right? So what is the place of supply for this? Law clearly told place of supply for this will be Karnataka. But why? That is very interesting and important. I'll tell you, don't worry. Let's look at once example 2 also, my dear friends. Listen what is happening, carefully concentrate. Now let's say there is one person called Mr. A. And Mr. A basically is from Kerala. Mr. A basically from where, my dear friends? Kerala. Now he is going to Goa. In Goa, in Goa there is Mr. A's marriage. Something like destination wedding. Correct, right? Nowadays a trend going on destination wedding. So Mr. A of Kerala is going to Goa. To get married there. Correct, right? So basically all the bride, bridegroom, entire family members, everybody is going to come and assemble in Goa, and in Goa Mr. A is going to get married. A is from where actually? Kerala. He is going to Goa to get married there. Now what has happened? They contacted somebody called PQR Caterers. PQR Caterers is basically a registered person in Maharashtra. And Mr. A contacted PQR Caterers to basically arrange for food catering. Food catering where? At Goa. So if you observe carefully, who is supplier here? That is nothing but PQR Caterers who are organizing what? Food. And who is receiver? Mr. A. And where is the marriage happening? Marriage is happening in Goa. So if you observe very carefully, my dear friends, A is of Kerala, PQR is of Maharashtra, and the marriage is happening in Goa. And Mr. A contacted PQR. Mr. A contacted PQR to provide catering service. To provide what, my dear friends? Catering service for marriage event, which is to be held in where, my dear friends? Goa. Now let me tell you, for this particular transaction, place of supply will be Goa. Because law clearly told in 12.4, in case of restaurant and catering services and other services, place of supply will be the place where services are actually performed. Tell me, where is it actually performed? It is actually performed in where? Goa. In the second example, that is where place of supply is Goa. And in first example, service is actually performed in Karnataka. So place of supply is always Karnataka. That is why, my dear friends, when we go to restaurants to eat food, when we go to restaurants to have food, restaurants will never ever charge IGST. Restaurants always charge CGST and SGST. Restaurants don't ever charge IGST, my dear friends. There is a logic for that. Because for their service, place of supply is the place where services are actually performed. Clear, right? One more example I'll give you here. Listen. So let's say there is somebody called Dharma Productions. Who is it, my dear friends? Dharma Productions, who is a registered person in Maharashtra. And these people, what they are doing is, they are shooting a film. They are shooting what, my dear friends? Shooting a film in, let's say, Sikkim. Dharma Productions, registered in Maharashtra. They are shooting a film in Sikkim, my dear friends. Now what has happened? Dharma Production contacted somebody known as Mr. Manish, who is a top beautician. Top what, my dear friends? Beautician, who is a registered person in Rajasthan. Mr. Manish, who is a top beautician in the registered person in what, my dear friends? Rajasthan. Mr. Manish is a top beautician and is the registered person in Rajasthan. So Dharma Productions contacted Mr. Manish and told him to come to Sikkim. To provide makeup service to artists, maybe to heroes and heroines, or any artist, any side actors, whatever it is. Let's not go to detail about what kind of movie it is. Forget it. Let's focus on the concept. Come on. So, my dear friends, what is happening here is that who contacted whom, sir? Dharma Productions contacted Manish to come to Sikkim and provide makeup service to what, my dear friends? Artist. So, if you observe here, who is supplier? Supplier is nothing but Manish. Who is recipient? Recipient is nothing but Dharma Productions, and they are paying 25 lakhs to Manish to provide makeup service to the artist. 25 lakhs became so high. Okay, don't worry, don't become excited. 10 lakhs, happy now? Fine. So now question is all about what is the answer for place of supply. For this also, let me tell you, place of supply is Sikkim. It doesn't matter that Manish is from Rajasthan and Dharma Productions is in Maharashtra. It doesn't matter at all, because for restaurant and catering services, beauty treatment and other services, place of supply is straight away the place where services are actually performed. Now let me highlight that point there. Listen, concentrate here. What law told very clearly is that, listen please focus here. Restaurant and catering services, personal grooming. Personal what, my dear friends? Grooming. Grooming is something like trying to develop some personality skills. Personal grooming as to how we should be, how we should talk to others, how we should maintain his body language. Exactly. Restaurant and catering services, personal grooming. Fitness. What is fitness, sir? Gym. A gym activity. Nowadays, cult. People are going to gym. The importance towards fitness has increased a lot from the time India is facing a lot of troubles. Correct, right? Importance towards fitness has increased and people are focusing on the too much of fitness activities now. Good. Come on. Restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness. Beauty treatment. Come on, friends. Restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services. That means hospitals, including cosmetic and plastic surgery. So this line is important. Let me explain, my dear friends. So the concept is very simple. Generally, health services are exempt in GST law. In exemption list, I'll teach you there that health services, we don't pay GST. That means when we go to hospital to take some treatment or doctor provides some services, they are exempt in GST law. On the GST is not applicable at all. But GST is applicable for cosmetic and plastic surgery. Now, what is the meaning of cosmetic and plastic surgery? That is important. And let me tell you very clearly, cosmetic surgery is something like a pimple treatment or some hair transplant treatment. That is something like cosmetic surgery. Plastic surgery, we know that face is completely changed. And as per GST law, if any person gets cosmetic or plastic surgery, it is actually taxable, my dear friends. I repeat one more time. As per GST law, if any person gets cosmetic or plastic surgery, it is actually taxable. However, if the cosmetic or plastic surgery is done as a part of treatment, then it is exempt. Example, let's say a person is going on a bike. When he is going on a bike, unexpectedly he met with an accident. When he met with an accident, the face got completely damaged. So obviously, as a part of treatment, the doctor will do something called plastic surgery. in that case it is exempt. That means if you get cosmetic or plastic surgery as a part of treatment, it is exempt. But if you get cosmetic and plastic surgery as a part of overaction, then it is taxable. As simple as that. See now, restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services, including cosmetic and plastic surgery. POS means what? Place of supply. Exactly. POS is place where services are actually performed. Very interesting language, friends. Done, sir. Come on, very interesting language. What is the language we wrote there? In case of restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services, including cosmetic and plastic surgery, POS is the place where services are actually performed. Clear, right? Come on. Very interesting and important. I want this in your notes right now with all the 3 examples. Start writing. Section 12, 4. In case of restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services, including cosmetic and plastic surgery. Place of supply is the place where services are actually performed. So it doesn't matter in 12.4, it doesn't matter where recipient is located, it doesn't matter where recipient is located, doesn't matter where supplier is located, doesn't matter whether receiver is a registered person or receiver is unregistered person. It doesn't matter at all. Straight away we will find out place of supply, and the place of supply will be the place where services are actually performed. Very interesting language. Take it, come on. I'll wait for 2 minutes. Please do write. And all the story is given by a beautiful section called section 12, 4, my dear friends. Can I scroll further? Done. So let me scroll. Take this another example also, friends. This example gives the example for beauty treatment, because this 12.4 covers restaurant and catering, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services, including cosmetic and plastic surgery. And for everything, the answer is the place where services are actually performed. Done, finish writing this. Can I move forward? Done. Let me proceed. That's the end of story 4 with section, my dear friends, 12.4. Now let me talk about the next section, my dear friends, 12.5. Something interesting and important. Listen first. So what is happening is, let's say, there is a company called Infosys, which is, let's say, registered person in Karnataka, Now Infosys is organizing an employee tour to Goa. Infosys is organizing what, my dear friends? Employee tour to where, my dear friends? Goa. And that tour is basically an educational cum vacational trip. That is educational cum entertainment trip, not just entertainment. It is educational cum entertainment trip. Very good. Now what has happened? Infosys contacted SHIVA TEJA. Infosys contacted SHIVA TEJA and they wanted me to come to Goa to take GST sessions to their employees. GST session on practical level. GST session practically to their employees to highlight them on what are the intricacies of GST returns, what if we don't file returns on time, what are the practical things we need to keep in mind whenever we do a GST audit. So all the practical things they wanted me to train to their employees. So they called me to come there and take a GST session. So basically I'm going to give them GST training. That's why I clearly told it is not just vacational trip, it is educational cum vacational trip. I know, because you will start feeling sad. Sir, in Goa also GST training, sir. Like that you will feel, I know. But that's where I clearly told it is not just vacation, it is vacation cum educational trip. And for which they paid me 2 lakh rupees. 2 lakh rupees only for 2 days. They wanted me to come there for 2 days and take the training, for which they paid 2 lakhs. Example, if you feel it more, it's okay. If you feel it less, it's fine. I'll adjust. You don't worry. Okay, listen now. So 2 lakh rupees is what they paid for me to give training to the employees where? Goa. And that I'm going to take them GST session to them, GST training to them, correct or not? So my question to you now, in this particular example, who is supplier? Supplier is nothing but SHIVA TEJA. And let me tell you, SHIVA TEJA is a registered person in Telangana state, whereas Infosys is a registered person in Karnataka. Correct, right? And where am I going and giving service? I'm going to Goa and giving service there. They called me to come there for 2 days and provide training to the employees in Goa. And I went to Goa and provided training in Goa. Now question is all about, in this particular scenario, what will become place of supply? That is the question. Straight away, my dear friends, without any second thought, let me tell you some interesting surprise for you. Place of supply will be Karnataka, not Goa. It is definitely Karnataka, my dear friends. But one more line what I'll add is that if Infosys, if what, my dear friends, Infosys is an unregistered person, that means receiver is an unregistered person, then place of supply is Goa, my dear friends. It's a very interesting point. This point is given by 12.5. How? Come on, let me clarify here. Concentrate, please. So what law told very clearly is that 12.5 deals with the place of supply in case of training and performance appraisal. Performance appraisal is telling like how performance has to be done, how it has been done. Performance appraisal, training and performance appraisal services. For this training and performance appraisal services, my dear friends, we will divide the things into 2 parts. The 2 parts are, recipient is registered person, other side recipient is unregistered person. And sir, if you recollect in 12.4 there was nowhere a point called receiver is a registered person, receiver is unregistered person. 12.4 was talking about restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services, including cosmetic and plastic surgery. There directly we told the answer as what, sir? Come on. There directly we told the answer as place where services are actually performed. But there is no bifurcation between receiver registered, receiver unregistered. But in 12.5, training and performance appraisal, law gave a bifurcation. Now you will get one doubt in brain. So in 12.4, why they have not done bifurcation? 12.5, why they have done bifurcation? There is a reason for that. The reason what government has internally is that in 17.5, in section 17 subsection 5, which I'll tell you in input tax credit, there is a special concept called block credits. Block credit means those cases where credit is not allowed. For example, restaurant, catering, food services, we can't take credit. And beauty treatment, I mean to say health services, we can't take credit. And fitness, we can't take credit. So there are various cases where we can't take credit. When you can't take credit, what difference it makes? When you can't take credit, what difference it makes whether the receiver is a registered person or unregistered person? That is why law did not make any bifurcation. That is the reason why law did not make any bifurcation. But in 12.5, we are talking about training and performance appraisal. There, receiver will take input tax credit. So it is very important that they bifurcate what is the answer in different case. Very interesting, sir. That is the internal logic of the government. It's not written anywhere like that, but that is how we have interpreted, saying that where credit is allowed, they bifurcated. Where credit is not allowed, they did not bifurcate. Of course, for immovable property, they gave predominant focus on where property is located or intended to be located. They took different parameters to take a decision as to what will be the place of supply. Come on. So for training and performance appraisal, friends, if receiver is a registered person, place of supply will be location of such person. Location of such person basically means wherever he is registered. And if receiver is unregistered person, place of supply is place where services are. Place of supply will be the place where services are actually performed. Clear, friends? That's it. That is the end of story for 12.5. Pretty simple but very important. 12.5 talks about what? Training and performance appraisal, which clearly says if receiver is a registered person, then place of supply will be location of such person. But whereas if the receiver is unregistered person, then place of supply will be the place where services are actually performed. Place of supply is the place where services are actually performed. Very, very interesting point, my dear friends. No doubt about it. Clear, right? Come on, take this. Very important. Came in exam. So I want to write very properly, sir. Which section all this, by the way? Section 12.5, which talks about training and performance appraisal, which very clearly says if receiver is a registered person, then place of supply will be location of such person. Whereas if the receiver is an unregistered person, then place of supply will be the place where services are actually performed. Take this. Interesting and of course important. And I'm sure the example also is very clear. In example, generally place of supply is Karnataka, but if Infosys is unregistered person, then what will happen then? Place of supply will automatically become Goa, because they gave an importance telling that if receiver is registered person, wherever he is registered, that becomes place of supply. But if it is unregistered, then place of supply, what we will tell is the place where services are actually performed. We are clear, right? Come on, please reply. Very good. Let me proceed. Can I move forward? So come on, what is section 12.1? By the way, 12.1 very clearly talks about provisions of section 12 will apply when location of supplier and location of recipient both are in India. And 12.2 talks about something called what, my dear friends? General rule, which says if the receiver is a registered person, location of such person. But if receiver is unregistered person, address on record exists, then location of recipient. Address on record does not exist, then location of supplier. And 12.3 talks about place of service for immobile property. 12.4 restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services including cosmetic and plastic surgery. And 12.5 talks about training and performance appraisal. Clear? Good. Then friends, let's talk about the story of section 12.6. Very, very simple, just a 2 minutes task. Now what is that 12.6? Listen. Sir, let's say there is something called Wonderla, and Wonderla is actually an amusement park. Wonderla is actually what, my dear friends? Amusement park. And Wonderla is actually a registered person in Telangana state. So Wonderla is there in Hyderabad also, it is there in Bengaluru also, there in Kerala also. And of course in Bombay in Maharashtra near Lonavala we have an amusement park called Imagica. They are all amusement parks where you have got water rides, slides, sports, fun, entertainment, so much is there. Yeah. Now keeping that story aside, Wonderla is an amusement park which is a registered person in Telangana state. Registered person because Wonderla will pay GST. Clear, right? No doubt. Then other side, what is happening is that there is one person called Mr. X who basically belongs to Visakhapatnam, and Visakhapatnam is a place in Andhra Pradesh. Most of you might have heard about this. Yeah. So Wonderland amusement park, registered person in Telangana state. Mr. X is basically belonging to Visakhapatnam of Andhra Pradesh. Now X has come to Wonderla to enjoy, my dear friends. X has come to Wonderla to enjoy. So basically what he has done, my dear friends, X has come to Wonderla to have fun, to enjoy in the amusement park. He came all the way from Vizag to Hyderabad to enjoy an amusement park. And he has taken one admission ticket. What ticket? Admission ticket of, let's say, 600 rupees. Clear, my dear friends? Admission ticket, sir. Admission ticket means what? Entry ticket. Very clear. I'm talking about something called entry ticket. So we need to take an entry ticket, right, to go inside? Exactly. Now question is all about, on the entry ticket, will GST come? 100% answer is yes. On the entry ticket, GST will apply. Now what is that we are talking about is, we are talking about a brilliant section called 12.6, which clearly says, in this particular example, place of supply will be Telangana. Why? 12.6 talks about something called, in case of admission to an event, admission to what, my dear friends? Event or amusement park, or any other place. Entry ticket, my dear friends, entry ticket for amusement park or any other place, then POS would be place where event is held. POS would be event is held or park is located. Or just to add on, place where event is held or park or such other place is located. So wherever park is located, my dear friends, that only becomes place of supply. So obviously what will happen now, in Wonderla's example, location of supplier is in Telangana, place of supply is in Telangana. So on this admission ticket, what they will charge? CGST and SGST. That is why very clear-cut point is that these amusement parks and all, they always charge CGST and SGST. They never charge IGST because place of supply is the place where park is located. No doubt about it. See now, come on. In case of admission to an event, one more time I repeat, in case of admission to an event or amusement park or any other place, admission to an event or amusement park or any other place, then place of supply would be the place where event is held or park or such other place is located. Very interesting language, friends. Which section all this? Section 12, 6. And just to add on one line, my dear friends, event can be cultural, religious, artistic, correct, right? Event can be cultural event, religious event, artistic event, or it could also be a sporting event. Sporting event is something like we are going to see a cricket match. Clear, right? And just to give you great amount of clarity of thought, friends, generally whenever we go to cricket match, we have to buy the ticket to go to the stadium and sit, right? Now on that cricket match ticket, what we buy for admission to sporting event, admission to what's a sporting event, what is the story we have got in GST law is that one special point I'll tell you. On the entrance ticket, if the entrance ticket is more than 500 rupees, it is actually taxable in GST law. And by any chance, if the entry ticket what you paid or what you have taken, if the entrance ticket is less than 500 rupees, then it is exempt under GST law. And when it is exempt, where is the question of place of supply? When it is purely exempt, what is the story of CGST, SGST, IGST? Nothing will be there. I repeat one more time, friends. Just know what I told is that whenever we talk about admission to any musical events, any musical event or award functions, musical event, award functions, or any beauty contest or any sporting events, these kind of cases, my dear friends, if the entrance ticket is less than 500 rupees, it is exempt. But if the entrance ticket is more than 500, it is taxable. Correct, right? Now, let's say for example, there is one Arijit Singh movie concert, Arijit Singh musical concert, I mean to say, he has come and organized one musical concert, one musical concert he organized. Now for that musical concert, you wanted to go jump in joy and dance. Now, if the entrance ticket is more than 500 rupees, it is taxable. But by any chance, if the entrance ticket is less than 500, then it would straight away become exempt, my dear friends. No doubt about it. It would straight away become exempt. Clear, right? So interesting and important, friends. Come on, please take this example and take the concept also. And this all story is given by 12.6. which deals with admission to event or amusement park or any other place. Basically, we are talking about the place of supply for the entrance ticket, where law clearly told that place of supply is the place where event is held or park or such other place is located. And the event can be either cultural event or religious event or artistic event or sporting event. Take it, come on. Done? Can I take it forward? Okay. Before I proceed to next section, sir, first let's once go back to our material and look at funds from material. Come on. I'm looking at page number 75, my dear friends. So whenever we are watching the video, watching the lecture, please make sure that the book is with you, either in physical form or soft form, whatever it is, physical or electronic form, whatever it is, but please make sure that book is with you. See now. Section 12.4, my dear friends. 12.4 talks about restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services including cosmetic and plastic surgery. What is the answer, by the way? Location where services are actually performed. Wherever services are performed, that becomes place of supply. Then 12.5 talks about service in relation to training and performance appraisal. SHIVA, TEJA, Infosys, I went to Goa. See now, registered person, location of such person. Unregistered person, location where services are actually performed. Then 12.6, supply of service provided by way of admission to cultural, artistic, sporting, scientific event, educational event, entertainment event, musical concert, that's what I told, or amusement park or any other place, and any ancillary services. Place where event is actually held or where the park or such other place is located. Clear, right? Sir, this is what is the story of its section 12.6, which clearly says for service in relation to admission to event or any amusement park or any other place, then the place of supply is the place where event is actually held or park or such other place is located. That's it. That is the end of story for section 12.6, my dear friends. Interesting and important. Then, sir, let me discuss with you next something very, 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 very important. And this is one such section which is coming in exam so many times, and I've got some very good number of questions on this. Look at this now. I'm talking about something called section 12.7, my dear friends. Very interesting and important. First, let me explain the concept, then we'll discuss some good examples also. Listen. 12.7 basically talks about organizing an event. So what was 12.6 talking about? 12.6 was talking about admission to an event or entrance ticket we were talking about, whereas 12.7 is talking about organizing an event. Now for organizing an event, what is the answer for place of supply? That is what we are talking, my dear friends. Come on. So for organizing an event, what law told is something like this. Listen. Recipient is a registered person and recipient is unregistered person. Now what law told? You can expect something. Recipient is registered person. Place of supply is obviously location of such person. That means wherever he is registered, that becomes place of supply. No doubt in that. And if recipient is unregistered person, my dear friends, place of supply will be the place where event is actually held. Place of supply is what, my dear friends? Place where event is actually held. Now, just to add on one special line, what they told is that if event is held outside India, if event is held where, my dear friends? If event is held outside India, then place of supply would be location of recipient. Very, very interesting language, friends. Come on. 12.7 is talking about what, my dear friends? 12.7 is dealing with the concept of what? Organizing an event. Where law clearly told if a receiver is a registered person, then place of supply will be location of such person. But if the receiver is unregistered person, then place of supply will be what, sir? Place where event is actually held, my dear friends. Place where event is actually held. And by any chance, if the event is held where, my dear friends? Outside India. If event is held outside India, then place of supply will be location of recipient. Very, very important point they told. Now listen, let me clarify you this concept by lovely examples now. Listen. Example number 1. Reliance Industries Limited, a registered person in Maharashtra, they contacted somebody called Evento Events. That is the name of that company. Evento Events, some event management company. Evento Events is a registered person, let's say in Gujarat. They contacted Evento Events, registered person in Gujarat, for the purpose of organizing annual day event. For the purpose of organizing what, my dear friends? Annual day event of Reliance Industries. So friends, I repeat the example once again, sir. Reliance Industries Limited, which is a registered person in Maharashtra, they contacted Evento Events, registered person in Gujarat, for the purpose of what, my dear friends? Organizing annual day event. Let's say in where shall we conduct the event? Organizing the annual day event in Meghalaya state, exactly. In Meghalaya state, they want to organize the event. Now, if you observe carefully, who is the supplier in this example? Supplier is nothing but Evento Events, and recipient is nothing but Reliance Industries. And Reliance Industries paid 1 crore to Evento Events for organizing an annual day event in Meghalaya. Such a brilliant point. Correct, right? Now, in this example, my dear friends, very clearly, what is the service, my dear friends? Service is what, my dear friends? Organizing an event. Sir, that is why I clearly told you starting only that goods will not take much time, but the whole effort is all about having a great clarity of thought on place of supply in case of services. That is only challenging, and that is only more important, and that will only come in exam. Correct, right? Now for this service, my dear friends, of organizing an event, what is the answer for place of supply? Place of supply is nothing but straight away Maharashtra. Obviously, place of supply is Maharashtra. It doesn't matter where the event is held. Where the event is held is irrelevant. Where the event is held is what, my dear friends? Irrelevant. Where the event is held is irrelevant. What is relevant is only receiver is a registered person. Then automatically place of supply is location of such person. That is a great point given by 12.7. 12.7 talks about what's there? Service in relation to organizing an event. Where law clearly told place of supply is the place of supply is receiver is a registered person, then location of such person. Clear? Now, story is not yet done. I am not done yet. Wait. Example 2, my dear friends. See now. There is one person called Mr. Akash, who is actually an unregistered person. Unregistered person in Akash is an unregistered person in Madhya Pradesh. Akash is what, sir? Unregistered person in where, my dear friends? Madhya Pradesh. Now, interesting point is that, let me tell you very clearly. Now, Akash contacted Evento Events to organize Akash marriage event. To be held in Rajasthan, and Evento Events is a registered person in Gujarat. Clear, my dear friends? And Akash paid 50 lakhs, my dear friends. Such a crazy point. Akash is unregistered person in Madhya Pradesh. I repeat one more time. Akash is unregistered person in Madhya Pradesh, and he contacted Evento Events for organizing Akash marriage event to be held in Rajasthan. Clear, right? Come on. And Akash paid how much, my dear friends? Akash paid 50 lakhs to Evento Events. And if you observe very clearly, who is supplier? Supplier is Evento Events. And recipient is very clearly Mr. Akash. Now, in this particular example, what will become place of supply? Place of supply will straight away become Rajasthan. Why Rajasthan? Because if receiver is an unregistered person, then place of supply will be place where event is actually held, my dear friends. Wherever event is held, that becomes place of supply. Right? Now listen. Let's say if marriage event is to be held in Dubai. If marriage event is to be held in where, my dear friends? Dubai. If marriage event is to be held in Dubai, one more time I repeat, if marriage event is to be held in what, sir? Dubai. If marriage event is to be held in Dubai, then my dear friends, without second thought, my place of supply will work out to Madhya Pradesh, my dear friends. Because, let me tell you very clearly, my dear friends, what law told in section 12.7, organizing an event, the concept is very clear that if receiver is a registered person, then POS will be location of such person. But if the receiver is an unregistered person, then what is the answer, my dear friends? Then place of supply will be the place where event is actually held. Wherever event is held, that becomes place of supply. And another interesting point to be noted is that if event is held outside India, if event is held where, my dear friends? Outside India. If event is held outside India, then place of supply will be location of recipient. Such a great point they told in 12.7. Very interesting and important. Take it, come on. Extremely important point. First, take the diagram of the concept first, then we can take the examples also. And we have got one more special point also to talk. That also I'll discuss. Don't worry. So 12.6 was talking about admission to event, and 12.7 is talking about organizing an event. Get the difference there. Don't get confused, my dear friends. 12.6 is talking about admission to event, whereas 12.7 is talking about organizing an event. Come on, take it, guys. Finish off writing. (12.4) was restaurant and catering, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatments, and health services, including cosmetic, plastic surgery. 12.5 was training and performance appraisal. 12.6 is admission to event, and 12.7 talks about organizing an event. Every point is different, every concept is different. Clear? The table makes sense? Brilliant. Moving forward. Look at example 1. Take this. Example 1 is talking about a case where receiver is a registered person. And if receiver is a registered person, it doesn't matter where the event is held. Wherever event is held, it doesn't matter at all, because place of supply is directly location of recipient. Finished example 1, finished writing? Done. Kindly please take example 2 also, my dear friends. And if you finish off writing this also, I'll discuss one last special point in 12.7. One more special point also is there. So in this example, my dear friends, since receiver is unregistered person, what is the answer then? Place of supply became Rajasthan. But by any chance, if the marriage event is to be held in Dubai, then place of supply will be Madhya Pradesh. That is something like immovable property. In 12.3 we learned that language, that if immovable property is located outside India, then place of supply is location of recipient. Same language is there here also, that if event is held outside India, then place of supply is location of recipient. Same language is there here also. Good. Done. Next. Next interesting language, guys. Come on. One special point which is there in 12.7 is that if event is held in more than one state, so this concept is something like, if you remember in 12.3 we learnt, if immovable property is located in more than one state, exactly similar language. If event is held in more than one state, then POS would be each of the respective states in proportion to value determined in the contract or agreement. Clear, friends? Come on, what is the language we wrote, sir? If event is held, what is held, sir? If event is held in more than one state, then POS would be each of the respective state in proportion to the value determined in the contract or agreement. But the interesting point is that in the absence of contract or agreement, it is to be determined on such other basis as may be prescribed. So if you remember, same language I taught you in 12.3 also, and let me clarify you, it is already prescribed by brilliant rule called Rule 5, my dear friends. Rule 4 we learnt in immovable property, and here we are talking about Rule 5. And Rule 5 are what rules? IGST rules, obviously, because we are in IGST Act. And Rule 5 says follow something called GAP. GAP is nothing but generally accepted accounting principles. That's all. Whatever is generally accepted principles, based on that you do. Now what does that mean? I gave an example, sir. Look at your material. See here. In the absence of contract or agreement, the value is determined in accordance with Rule 5 by application of GAP. GAP is nothing but generally accepted accounting principles. So you check where more effectively more service is done, more event is done in which state. On reasonable basis you calculate. Now see one example. An event management company E has to organize some promotional events in state S1 and S2. To recipient are unregistered. If registered, there is no discussion at all. 3 events are to be organized in S1 and S2. They charge consolidated amount of 10 lakhs from R. Place of supply is S1 and S2 and proportion arrived at by applying gap is 3:2 because 3 events are to be organized in S1 and 2 events in S2. So proportionately it is 3:2. Service shall be deemed to have been provided in the ratio of 3:2 and the value of service provided will be 6 lakhs and 4 lakhs. So we divided that 10 lakh rupees in the ratio of 3:2. That is what is the meaning of gap, which means that generally accepted accounting principles. Clear? And the story is given by Rule 5, my dear friends. Rule 5. Of which rules? IGST rules. I want you to write this special point in your notes. This special point should come in your notes. So please write. Write down, friends. Please do write the special point in your notes. And once you finish writing, I'll discuss some very good number of questions, especially on 12/7. We'll talk some good number of questions. Don't worry. So this point says what, sir? If event is held in more than one state, then POS would be each of the respective state in proportion to the value determined in the contract or agreement. And next line, in the absence of contract or agreement, it is to be determined on such other basis as may be prescribed. Done? Clear? Can I move forward? Let me proceed. So now let's look at some interesting questions on the concept of 12/7. Yes. So let me move forward to the questions. Yeah, so if I just look at this multiple choice questions, friends, already some we have done, but 2-3 interesting questions are there related to the concept what we just learned. See that, come on. What is the place or supply of service where a restaurant provides catering service at the premises of customer? What is the answer? Customer premise where catering service is provided. Obviously because of 12/4, my dear friends. Restaurant and catering service, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health service including cosmetic and plastic surgery. Next, Mr. X, a resident from Pune, conducts training for employees of P Limited, being a registered person under GST, based out in Chennai at a resort in Darjeeling. Wow! See that once? Mr. X, a resident of Pune, conducts what, sir? Training. And we know that training is governed by 12/5 for employees of P Limited, being a registered person under GST based out in Chennai at resort in Darjeeling. That means event is done in Darjeeling. So what? Receiver is a registered person. And where is registered person? He registered in Chennai. So place of supply is obviously Chennai. Good. 9th, 10th requires some more knowledge. We'll do that later. We can actually look at 13th question, guys. See that? Why residing in Ahmedabad? Why is in Ahmedabad? Appoints an architect in Los Angeles. That means one of them is outside India. Section 13 will come, not 12. To provide Indian traditional home design for his proposed construction. That means what? Services in relation to immovable property. 13/4. Already I taught you. Proposed construction at Los Angeles. So POS is Los Angeles. Because in 13/4, straight away the answer for place of supply in relation to immovable property is the place where property is located or intended to be located. If it's outside India, that's all. In 12/3 only we have a special point which says that if immovable property is located outside India, then place of supply is location of recipient. Like that point is there only in 12.3, not in 13.4. Next. See 15th question. Which of the following is an interstate supply? Supplier of goods is in Delhi. Place of supply is SEZ in Delhi. 100% it is interstate supply. Then supplier is in Delhi, POS is in Jaipur. This is also interstate supply. Supplier is in Delhi, POS is SEZ in Chandigarh. This is also interstate. So all of the above. Clear, right? Because we know that interstate supply concept is given by section 7 of IGST Act, which clearly says if the location of supplier and place of supply are in different state, we obviously call it as interstate supply. Then, which of the following is an intrastate supply? Supplier is in Delhi and place of supply is SEZ in Delhi. This is definitely interstate. Supplier is in Delhi, POS is in Jaipur. This is also interstate. Supplier is in Delhi, POS is in Delhi. This becomes an intrastate supply. Clear? Next. Which of the following transaction is interstate supply? Location of supplier is in Bangalore. Location of recipient is in Mumbai. That is not relevant for us. What is relevant is only location of supplier and place of supply. Second, location of supplier is Bangalore, POS is Mumbai. 100% this is interstate. Location of supplier and POS both are in Bangalore. Then this becomes intrastate. Very scoring, guys. These kind of questions will straight away come in the exam. So answer is option B, my dear friends. Next one. Supply of goods in the course of import into territory of India. We technically call it as interstate trade or commerce. We technically call it as what, sir? Interstate trade or commerce. Next. Yeah. Example number 7, my dear friends. Mr. Perishetty of Kerala visits a hotel in Jaisalmer, very good, and stays at the hotel. Staying means what? Accommodation for 5 days. He avails the gym and restaurant service. Wonderful. Restaurant service we know, place where services are performed, and makes individual payment for the services. And everything would be Jaisalmer only because of section 12.3 and 12.4. For the accommodation, 12.3 will apply. But for gym and restaurant service, 12.4 will apply. Then, Mr. Ravi of Bengaluru purchases a ticket for watching a movie in Telangana Cinema Hall. That means what? Admission to events, entrance ticket. So what is the answer then? POS is Telangana only, place where event is held. I mean to say, this is admission to event, right? Place where event is held or park is located or any other place is located. Next. Caterer is providing catering service on board. Later. That requires some more knowledge. Look at 12th question, my dear friends. Single Limited, registered in Maharashtra, sold its pre-installed machines located in Haryana to Receiver Limited located in Gujarat, registered in Gujarat. So what? Still the answer is Haryana, because we are talking about something where place where there is no movement of goods. 10.1c. In case where there is no movement of goods, place of supply will be location of goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. We taught this. So in this case, goods are of the nature where they are pre-installed and cannot be moved. And POS would be Haryana. Hence IGST would be levied. And last, example 3. Ramco Limited, registered in Maharashtra, opens a new office in Jodhpur. Where is Jodhpur? Rajasthan. It purchases 10 computers to be installed at Jodhpur office. Over. Installed means what will happen? 10.1d will come into picture. Location of supplier is Maharashtra, but POS will be Jodhpur, Rajasthan. Hence IGST they will charge, obviously. And installed, what is the answer, friends? In case where goods are assembled or installed, POS will be the place where goods are assembled or installed. Then, question number 4, my dear friends. The place of supply in relation to immovable property is the location of property. We know that. Now what they are asking, what will be the place of supply of, suppose a road is constructed from Delhi to Mumbai covering multiple states, what will be POS? Come on, each of the respective state in proportion to the value determined in the contract or agreement. And in the absence of contract or agreement, we will say apply rule 4. And rule 4 says we'll apportion based on area of the immovable property. Important. Then, 5th one, what will be the place of supply of services provided by an event management company for organizing an event for sports federation, which is to be held in multiple states? POS will be each of the respective state in proportion to value as per contract or agreement. And in the absence of contract or agreement, what is the answer? Rule 5 will apply, which says follow GAP. GAP stands for Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. That's it. Very, very interesting question, my dear friends. Question number 12. It's an exam question. Very powerful. Please concentrate. Musicera Private Limited, owned by Nitish Dani, a famous classical singer, wishes to organize an Nitish Dani music concert in Gurugram, Haryana. So they want to organize what, my dear friends? Musical concert. Musicera Private Limited, registered in Ludhiana, Punjab, enters into contract with event management company Supriya Private Limited, registered in Delhi, for organizing the musical concert at an agreed consideration of 10 lakh rupees. And Supriya Private Limited booked the launch of Hotel Dum Dum, Gurugram, registered in Haryana, for holding the musical concert for lump sum consideration of 4 lakhs. Musicera Private Limited fixes the entry fee to the concert at 5,000 rupees. 400 tickets are sold. You are required to determine CGST, SGST or IGST, as the case may be, in respect of supplies involved in the given scenario. Wow. Sir, what a brilliant question this has been. See now, let's answer this question. Please listen, my dear friends, concentrate. Who is there here, my dear friends? Musicera Private Limited, and they are a registered person in Punjab, and they contacted Supriya Events Private Limited, and they are a registered person in Delhi for the purpose of organizing event in where? Haryana. Correct, right? So speak out. Musicera Private Limited, a registered person in Punjab. Registered person where, my dear friends? In Punjab. They contacted Supriya Events Private Limited, who are registered person in Delhi, for the purpose of organizing an event in Haryana, and for which Musicera Private Limited has paid 10 lakh rupees to Supriya Events. And if you observe in this case, my dear friends, for invoice to be given by Supriya Events, for invoice to be given by Supriya Events, place of supply is straight away, my dear friends, Punjab. Why Punjab? Because receiver is a registered person, and if receiver is registered person, place of supply will be location of such person. So for invoice to be given by Supriya, place of supply is Punjab. So if you observe carefully, my dear friends, location of supplier is Delhi and place of supply is Punjab. Accordingly, what will happen, my dear friends? Accordingly, IGST would be levied. No doubt about it. IGST would be levied. Other side, my dear friends, if you observe the story, that is not the end of the story. If you observe the story, my dear friends, where is the event being held, sir? Event is being held in where? Event is being held in Gurugram, and the Supriya Private Limited books the launch at Hotel Dumdum at Gurugram for a value of 4 lakh rupees. Now what will happen, my dear friends? For this 4 lakh rupees, what will happen? We'll apply 12(3). Correct, right? Because they are giving the place for organizing the event, immovable property. So for Hotel Dumdum, we will apply section 12(3), my dear friends. And this answer is given based on 12(7), sir. And as per 12(3), what will happen for immovable property? Place of supply is the place where property is located or intended to be located, and automatically place of supply will become Haryana. And very clearly, my dear friends, hotel would charge what, sir? CGST and SGST. CGST, SGST, because location of supplier is in Haryana, place of supply is also Haryana. When location of supply and place of supply both are in Haryana, obviously hotel will charge CGST and SGST. What a brilliant concept, my dear friends. No doubt about it. Next, story is not yet over. Other point, we should also answer based on section 12(6). That is, for admission to event, place of supply would be Haryana. Why place of supply will be Haryana? For admission to event, place of supply will be the place where event is actually held. So automatically, since the event is held in Haryana, my dear friends, my place of supply will be Haryana. No doubt at all. And the answer is coming based on provisions of section 12(6), where 12(6) clearly says, in case of admission to any event or amusement park, place of supply will be the place where event is actually held, my dear friends. So automatically the answer becomes Haryana, sir. And location of supplier is Punjab. Why Punjab? Because Muzasara Private Limited is in Punjab. They are only given entry ticket for this. Correct, right? Therefore, IGST would be levied. That is the point. So please observe, my dear friends, there are so many interesting points in the question. One, what is the place of supply for organizing event? Second, what is the place of supply for hotel giving that place for organizing event? Next, last one, what is the place of supply for admission to event? So this question has the concept of 12(7) also, and this question has the concept of 12(3) also for immovable property, and this question has the concept of 12(6) also for admission to events. Next slide. Will your answer be different if the price per ticket is fixed at 450 rupees? I repeat one more time. What is the language I wrote, sir? Will your answer be different? Will your answer be different if the price per ticket is fixed at 450 rupees? If it is fixed at 450 rupees, my dear friends, straight away exempt. No GST on entrance ticket, because entrance ticket will be exempt, my dear friends. I already talked to this point. In case of admission to any sporting event or any musical concert, award functions, where the entrance ticket does not exceed 500, it is straight away exempt. It is taxable only when the entry ticket is more than 500. What a brilliant question, my dear friends. And this is what is the Wonderful answer. Very, very interesting question. I can actually wait for 2 minutes. Take the answer once. Interesting. Take it, come on. Write the answer. Write down, please. Interesting, of course, important. Come on, guys. Finish writing the answer. So what a wonderful question came in exam, guys. Because section 12.7 is also involved, 12.3 is also involved, 12.6 is also involved. What a great question, guys. Can I move forward? Done. Let me proceed. So let's look at the next question, my dear friends. I'm sure this 12th question has been amazing for all of us. Something really interesting because it's not just talking about one section, it's talking about 12.7, 12.3 as well as 12.6, everything combined together. And to clarify the last point once again, my dear friends, when the price per ticket is 450, then there will not be any GST on the entrance ticket because that admission to event, that particular service will be exempt because the ticket value is not more than 500. I taught this point to you already. Done. Next. Look at question number 13, my dear friends. Damani Industries has recruited Super Events Private Limited, wow, an event management company of Gujarat, for organizing a grand party for the launch of its new product at Bangalore. Very good. And Damani Industries Limited is registered in Mumbai. Wow. They are already registered in Mumbai. Determine place of supply of service provided by Super Events Private Limited to Damani Industries. Without any second thought, as per section 12.7, place of supply is directly Mumbai because 12.7, if receiver is registered person, location of such person. Next line. Will your answer be different if the product launch party is organized in Dubai? Still, POS is Mumbai only because we know that very clearly that if receiver is a registered person, then place of supply is always location of such person. If receiver is unregistered person only, we have a different point there. We are law told in 12.7, if receiver is unregistered person, then place of supply will be the place where event is actually held. And if event is held outside India, then place of supply is location of recipient. Clear? Good. 14th one requires some knowledge. 15th also requires some knowledge. We can actually look at 16th question. Mr. Murthy said this in your material only, please. Mr. Murthy, an unregistered person and a resident of what? Pune, Maharashtra, hires the services of Sun Limited, an event management company. Very good. They have taken services of Sun Limited and event management company registered in Delhi. And you have to observe that Murthy is unregistered person. That very clearly means receiver is an unregistered person. Next, for organizing new product launch in Bengaluru or Karnataka, determine place of supply for services provided by Sun Limited. Answer is Bengaluru. Why, sir? If receiver is unregistered person, POS will be the place where event is actually held. Sir, so many questions on 12.7. That's why I told 12.7 is extremely important. Next, What would your answer be in case product launch takes place in Bangalore? Oh, if product launch is in, Bangkok. What would be your answer if product launch takes place in Bangkok? That means outside India. What is the answer then, my dear friends? POS will be Pune, Maharashtra. Why? If event is held outside India, then place of supply will be location of recipient. Then, what would your answer be in case where Murthy is a registered person and product launch takes place in Bengaluru and Bangkok, wherever it is conducted, place of supply is Pune, Maharashtra. Because once the receiver is a registered person, place of supply is directly location of such person. Without any second thought, if receiver is a registered person, POS will be location of such person. Make sense, right? Good. Done. 17th question is over. 18th also done. We can actually look at 19th question, my dear friends. So many questions on 12/7. See that. Grand Gala Events, an event management company at Kolkata, organizes 2 award functions for Kalyan Jewelers of Chennai, registered in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. They are registered and the event is in New Delhi and at Singapore. So what? Still the answer for place of supply will be Chennai. Still the answer for POS is what, sir? Chennai, because receiver is a registered person. Next, second bit. Perfect Planners. What is the name, sir? Perfect Planners, Bengaluru, Karnataka, is hired by Dr. Kelvin, who is an unregistered person. Receiver is unregistered, based in Kochi, Kerala, to plan and organize his son's wedding at Mumbai, Maharashtra. Then my place of supply will be Mumbai, Maharashtra. Otherwise, where the event is held, my dear friends. And next line. Will your answer be different if the wedding is to take place in Malaysia? That means wedding is outside India. Then POS will be Kerala. Why? Because if wedding is outside India, then POS will be location of recipient. Very, very interesting concept and a wonderful concept, my dear friends. That's it. That is the end of story for section 12/7. I took so much of time because there is a high possibility that 12/7 will come in exam. And so many interesting points are there in 12/7. And don't throw the answer just like that. Write properly. First, what is the concept of 12/7? Then draw your answer. Whenever you write answer in exam, we always recommend that your answer should divide into 3 parts. Part 1 should be your fundamental provision and the concept. Part 2 should be your interpretation, second paragraph. First paragraph concept, second paragraph interpretation. Third paragraph we directly give a conclusion. Conclusion for the concept. First paragraph is what, sir? The concept or the provision. Second paragraph is interpretation. And third paragraph is your conclusion. That's it. That is the story of 12/7, my dear friends. Done right? We spent so much of time. Tell me, friends, now quickly, what is 12/1? 12/1 says 12 will apply only when supplier recipient both are located in India. 12/2 talks about general rule. 12/3 talks about immobile property. 12/4 restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services, including cosmetic and plastic surgery. And 12/5 talks about training and performance appraisal. 12/6 talks about admission to event. And 12/7 talks about organizing an event. Clear? This is what is the story of 12/1 to 12/7, my dear friends. Clear, right? Next. So friends, next point. Section 12/8 talks about talks about transportation of goods. So service by way of transportation of goods. Classic examples here, we have got somebody called GTA, Goods Transport Agency, who will provide service of transport of goods by road, or there could be transport of goods by aircraft, or there could be transport of goods by vessel. Correct, right? So for service of transportation of goods, law gave an interesting point where they told, divide them. Recipient is a registered person. Other side, recipient is unregistered person. And if recipient is registered person, POS would be location of such person. Location of such person means wherever he is registered. And other side, if recipient is unregistered person, POS would be place where goods are handed over. Place where, what my dear friends, goods are handed over for their transportation. Come on friends, what is the language, sir? Place where goods are handed over for their transportation. Now what is the meaning of this point? Let me give 1-2 examples here. So example 1, let's say there is Tata Limited, which is a registered person in Maharashtra, and Tata Limited have got some goods in Gujarat. Got some goods in where, sir? Gujarat. Now what has happened is Tata Limited contacted somebody called Blue Dart. Blue Dart, who is a registered person. Blue Dart, I repeat one more time, Blue Dart, who is a registered person in, let's say, Rajasthan. Blue Dart in registered person in Rajasthan to pick up goods from Gujarat and deliver to Tata Limited in Maharashtra. Deliver to where, my dear friends? Tata Limited in Maharashtra. Now who is supplier here, friends? Come on, who is supplier here? Supplier is nothing but Blue Dart and recipient is nothing but Tata Limited. So Tata Limited contacted Blue Dart and told them what? Told them to pick up goods from Gujarat. I repeat one more time. They told them to pick up goods from Gujarat and deliver to Tata Limited in Maharashtra. So basically, one Rajasthan person will pick up goods from Gujarat and deliver in Maharashtra. So for this particular transaction, friends, place of supply will be Maharashtra. Since receiver is a registered person. Since receiver is what, sir? Registered person. Next, example 2, my dear friends. Mr. Raju. Mr. what, my dear friends? I make it as Raj. Mr. Raj, who is an unregistered person and who is a CA student in Kolkata. He is a CA student in where, my dear friends? Kolkata. Now, there is one person called Mr. Rahul, who is also an unregistered person and he is also a CA student in Maharashtra. Now Raj contacted somebody called Blue Dart. So Blue Dart, we know, my dear friends, Blue Dart provides some courier service or FedEx possibilities there. They contacted Blue Dart. Raj contacted Blue Dart to send the books. Raj gave some books to Blue Dart and to send that good books to Rahul, who is in Maharashtra, for which Raj paid 1,000 rupees. Technically, we call that 1,000 as freight charges. Raj paid 1,000 rupees freight charges. Raj paid 1,000 rupees freight charges to send the goods by way of Blue Dart from where? From Kolkata to Maharashtra. Now tell me, guys, let me add on. Blue Dart is a registered person in Kolkata. And here, in this particular example, place of supply is Kolkata. Since goods are handed over in Kolkata, since goods are handed over in Kolkata for the purpose of transportation, that's it. So getting clarity, my dear friends, everybody? Something interesting and important, guys, no doubt about it. Which section all this, by the way? 12.8. And 12.8 talks about service by way of transportation of goods, including mail or courier. So mail is not email. Mail is something like post. Courier, we know. We have somebody like Blue Dart, DTDC, FedEx. So many are there who are acting as courier agency. Correct, right? So if we send the goods through courier or Blue Dart or your mail or any other way, then what they told is, if recipient is a registered person, then place of supply will be location of such person. But if recipient is unregistered person, place of supply will be the place where goods are handed over for their transportation, not the delivery, where they are handed over for their transportation. Now one line I'll tell you. In this example, sir, if Rahul is in Dubai, then they told place of supply is Dubai, sir. So what they told, my dear friends, one special point they told is something like this. That is, if goods are destined, if goods are what, sir? Destined outside India. If goods are destined outside India, that means goods are going outside India. If the goods are destined outside India, then place of supply would be the place of destination of such goods. Otherwise, we are not looking at where we handed over that goods, we are looking at where the goods are going. Generally we look at where the goods are handed over. But in this particular case of goods sending outside India, I repeat one more time, friends, what law is telling is that if the goods are destined outside India, that means goods are going outside India. If the goods are destined outside India, then place of supply would be place of destination of such goods. That means wherever goods are going. Very, very interesting special point. And this one latest amendment, what they added in law. Clear? Done. Take this point, come on. Write down the story of 12.8. Service by way of transportation of goods, including mail or courier, where law clearly told if receiver is registered person, POS is location of such person. But if receiver is unregistered person, POS will be the place where goods are handed over for their transportation. Such a brilliant point. Finish writing that chart, concept chart. So everything should be done in a simple chart form. So if you're done with the concept chart, I'll move forward. So we're done with the concept chart? Good. I'll proceed. Take this example, my dear friends. First take the example 1. Sir, place of supply topic has got nothing to do with numbers. Value of supply, I was busy and you were also busy in using calculators. But in concept of place of supply, where is the question of calculator? It's all about understanding the concept. And that if you are perfect, it's done. And to understand the concept, what is that we are using? We are using examples as a medium to understand the concept. And without examples, concept will not go into the brain. That is why examples is very important. So what is 12.8 talking about, my dear friends? 12.8 is talking about service by way of transportation of goods. Example 2. Done? Finish writing? Brilliant point, guys. Brilliant. Section 12.8. So friends, 12.4 was talking about what? Restaurant and catering, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health service including cosmetic and plastic surgery. 12.5 training and performance appraisal. 12.6 admission to event. 12.7 organizing an event. And 12.8 is what? Transportation of goods. So friends, in this particular session, I want to complete one more section also. One more section also will complete in today's lecture. That is a story of 12.9, my dear friends. Why I want to complete today itself? Because 12.9 if we do, we'll be done with some interesting part. Why? Because 12.8 was talking about transportation of goods and 12.9 is talking about transportation of passengers. Service by way of transportation of passengers. Simple but very powerful. Service by way of what? Transportation of passengers. And in this law told, again divided into two parts. That is, recipient is a registered person and recipient is unregistered person. And if recipient is a registered person, POS would be location of such person. That means wherever he is registered. Correct, right? But other side, if recipient is unregistered person, law told place of supply is the place where passenger embarks on conveyance. So write this word properly. Passenger embarks on conveyance. So law never told barks on conveyance. When dangerous student wrote in the exam, place where passenger barks. Why would the passenger bark, man? Come on. The word is what? Embark. Embark means what? He is getting into the conveyance. That is the meaning. Place where passenger embarks on conveyance for continuous journey. Continuous journey means you take one ticket at the starting and you continuously keep on going. There is no stopovers. Stopover is something like you get down, take one more ticket and then go. That is called stopover. Sir, let me tell you very clearly. Continuous journey is a case where there is no stopover. Stopover basically means passenger gets down and takes another fresh ticket. That is the meaning of stopover. Correct, right? So there is no stopover we are talking about, because if there is a stopover, then two journeys are different. For example, sir, I go to Hyderabad to Mumbai in one flight. In Mumbai I get down, Mumbai I take one more ticket and then go to Chennai. Both are two different journeys. Now you should not tell journey is Hyderabad to Chennai. No, Hyderabad to Mumbai is one journey, Mumbai to Chennai is another journey. Correct, right? Important. See now. Now some special point I'll tell you, sir. Listen, I'll give full clarity. Sir Shiva TEJA, a registered person in Telangana state. Now what has happened? I travelled from Hyderabad to Chennai by road. by road in Shiva TEJA own car. I traveled by Hyderabad to Chennai by road in Shiva TEJA's own car, my dear friends. Clear, sir? I traveled in my own car from Hyderabad to Chennai. Now what has happened? Some urgent work came up in Bengaluru. Some urgent work came up in Bengaluru. I repeat one more time, friends. Some urgent work came up in Bengaluru. Now some urgent work came up in Bengaluru means I immediately cannot take a car and go to Bengaluru like that. So when urgent work came up in Bengaluru, what I have done is I booked an Indigo flight. Not flight. Entire flight I will not book. Don't worry. I booked a ticket through Indigo Airlines, and the ticket is basically from Chennai to Bengaluru back to Chennai. Obviously, because Chennai my car is there, I should go back to Hyderabad in my car, right? So what I have done, my dear friends? Sir, originally where am I from? Originally I am from Hyderabad, but I went from Hyderabad to Chennai by road in my own car, and some urgent work came up in Bengaluru. So what I have done, I booked a flight ticket through Indigo Airlines from Chennai to Bangalore to Chennai. So I'll go from Chennai to Bangalore. I'll go from Chennai to Bangalore, finish the work in Bangalore and come back to Chennai again. Because in Chennai my car is there. I should take back my car and go to Hyderabad. Correct, right? So what is the answer now? For the entire round trip, for such transport of passengers, service given by Indigo Airlines, place of supply would be Telangana state. In fact, even though I traveled from Chennai to Bangalore and again Bangalore to Chennai, Chennai to Bangalore and again Bangalore to Chennai, still the place of supply will be Telangana state only, because receiver is a registered person. Sir, Indigo Airlines is the supplier and Shiva TEJA is the recipient. And since the recipient is a registered person, place of supply will be what, my dear friends? Location of such person. Very, very interesting language actually, and very important also. And let me tell you, my dear friends, practically also, whenever I book a flight ticket or a train ticket or bus ticket or any ticket for that matter, whenever I am going for some official journey, I am going for what journey? Official journey. I always give my GST number while booking the tickets so that I'll claim input tax credit. Why would I miss my input tax credit? I always give my GST number at the time of booking so that I can happily claim my input tax credit. No doubt about it. Now some interesting point what I'll tell you now is that if Shiva TEJA is unregistered person, then what? That is a question. Now interesting point is, my dear friends, if Shiva TEJA is unregistered person, then for Chennai to Bengaluru, place of supply is Chennai. For Chennai to Bengaluru, place of supply is what, my dear friends? Chennai. That is because wherever passenger embarks on the conveyance for continuous journey, and for Bengaluru to Chennai, POS is Bengaluru, my dear friends. So the concept is very clear that in case of a round trip, in case of what, my dear friends? Round trip, place of supply is evaluated separately, even though booking is done at same time. It doesn't matter. Even though you do the booking at same time, my dear friends, return journey is always treated as separate journey, my dear friends. That is what is the meaning of this point. Clear, my dear friends? Come on. So, other words, what we say is that return journey is always treated as separate journey, boss. Return journey is treated as what journey, my dear friends? Return journey is always treated as separate journey. What a brilliant point, my dear friends. Come on. So what is the story here, my dear friends? In case of service of transportation of passengers, if receiver is a registered person, then place of supply will be location of such person. But whereas if the receiver is an unregistered person, then place of supply will be the place where passenger embarks on the conveyance. Passenger what, sir? Embarks on the conveyance for continuous journey. Such a brilliant point. Clear, right? Place where passenger embarks on the conveyance for continuous journey, and return journey is always treated as separate journey. And one last special point, friends, to close this concept of 12.9. The last special point they told is that if right to passage is given for future use, that is something like we purchase some coupons. So for example, my dear friends, what is happening is, one example I'll tell you, sir. One time what has happened, Indigo Airlines was running some offer. They told any ticket you can buy at a price of 2,000 rupees. You need not use it right now. You can use it within next 6 months. It is something like coupon, and you can travel from one place in India to another place in India anytime in next 6 months. And you can buy now itself at 2,000 rupees. And let me tell you, Shiva TEJA purchased 2-3 coupons like that. Since I keep on traveling to different locations, I purchased coupons like that. Now tell me, do I know from where I'm going where? No, I don't know. But I purchased coupon right now. So if right to passage is given for future use and point of embarkation, that means where they are getting into the flight, point of embarkation is not known, then POS would be determined as per section 12.2, my dear friends. That means they told, please don't apply 12.9, please apply 12.2. And what is 12.2, by the way? 12.2 is nothing but general rule. Clear, right? That's it. Come on, take this. Very, very interesting point, my dear friends. A brilliant concept dealt by section 12.9, which talks about service by way of transportation of passengers, which clearly says if recipient is a registered person, then place of supply will be location of such person. And whereas if the recipient is an unregistered person, then place of supply will be the place where passenger, what passenger has done, passenger embarks on the conveyance. Embarks means where he is boarding, where he is getting into, where he is boarding the flight or train or bus, whatever it is, place where passenger embarks on the conveyance for continuous journey, my dear friends. Such a great point. Very, very important. And continuous journey is a case where there is no stopover. Stopover means what basically? Stopover means passenger will get down and take one more ticket. That is called stopover. And if there is a stopover, we will not call it as continuous journey. And to understand this, I gave a brilliant example. And that too, I gave a practical example what Shiva TEJA himself has experienced. Done? Finish writing the table, sir? Story of 12.9, my dear friends. So 12 will take some time, and we have some more 4-5 points like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. With that, 12 will get over. And I already told you that 13 also has got 13.1 to 13.13. but that will not take much time, because in 13 80% concept is same like 12 only, so it will not take much time. That's why it is very important that you master 12, that is section 12, then 13 becomes an easy task. Done. Take this lovely example, sir. Take this brilliant example. And to make it more realistic, Shiva TEJA traveled from Hyderabad to Chennai by road, and there he booked a flight ticket of Chennai to Bangalore to Chennai. And the place of supply will be Telangana only, because Shiva TEJA is registered. But if Shiva TEJA is unregistered, what will happen then? For Chennai to Bangalore it is Chennai, for Chennai to Bangalore it is Chennai, and Bangalore to Chennai it is Bangalore, the place where passenger embarks. And return journey is always treated as separate journey, even though booking is done at same time. That is interesting and important language. Clear? So take the box also in the bottom. Round trip POS is evaluated separately, even though booking is done at same time, because of a simple reason that return journey treated as separate journey. Example is there in front of you. Chennai to Bangalore, the answer is Chennai, whereas Bangalore to Chennai, the answer is Bengaluru. And you can take the last special point what I wrote, that if right to passage is given for future use and the point of embarkation is not known, it is something like coupons, airline coupons, vouchers purchased, then POS would be determined. POS would be determined as per section 12 too, sir. Interesting concept. Finished writing? That's it, my dear friends. That is the end of story for this particular lecture and this particular session, where in this session we completed discussion about section 12.4 to 12.9. In fact, lot of interesting points we covered, and we also solved some good number of questions. Solved means discussed, obviously. Solving is not there because numbers are not there. It's only pure concept. I'm sure we got full clarity on all these points. Clear? Done. Next session we'll talk about 12, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That means 12, 10, 12, 11, 12, 12, 12, 13, 12, 14. And next session we will complete section 12 positively. So most likely we should be completing section 12 in next session. Clear, right? Thank you so very much. Take care. Balance will take forward in next session. Bye-bye. Thank you. Stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.